Life has always been a battle between those who wish to control and those who absolutely wish to be free. And we are just going to jump into this because there's a lot that I want to say about it, but I want to get the news out of the way first. So, this is celebrated obviously by almost everyone. There's a unit within the government. It's called the Digital Services Unit. It was established by Ramaphosa inside the presidency. And the entire plan here is how do they revolutionize and transform all government services to be more digital. And the first one that they're working on is an app. That app has already been built. It's called the My Mzansi app. And then on that app, the very next service that they're now working on is the first ever digital driving licenses. And they have just shown how this can absolutely work. You have people, for example, like Rob Handfield Jones, who is an expert and also a managing director for driving.co.za, who basically says that this is amazing. South Africa should have moved away from the physical licensing cards years ago. And he actually goes on to say there are no technological or practical barriers to going fully digital, and that the real resistance lies in the road traffic management corporations' reluctance to move away from analog document production. He argues that it's about money and all the rest of it. Now, on the face of it, a lot of you might look and say, but hold on, Stefan, that's actually pretty good. I hate going down to the traffic department and having to stand there for hours on end in a queue. I mean, to get the physical driving license that sometimes can take months to actually be delivered. It's a schlep. And it would be amazing if I just had a quick app, and from that app, I could do pretty much whatever I want. And I do agree with you. On a practical side, this sounds like a phenomenal idea, except that's never where it ends. Almost all government programs start as a solution to a pretty serious problem. But in order to truly understand how this solution might become the problem in the future, we have to think through all of it. And we have to understand the motivations behind it. You see, the ANC looks up to the Chinese Communist Party in a very real way. In fact, most of the members of the ANC, as well as the EFF and the MK, have said in the past that South Africa should be more like China. But the ANC isn't alone on that front. If you go over to the World Economic Forum, if you read something like The Great Reset from Klaus Schwab, their previous CEO, and you read and watch almost every single World Economic Forum meeting at Davos, they all speak about China as the shining light on the hill, the one that we should try to emulate. It used to be America. America used to be the country that everyone wanted to be like because it was about freedom. It was about people being able to do whatever they want. But as the world has shifted and as the control group has started to become more vocal, China has become the city on the hill. Now, why do I say China? Well, because in China, they also have an app that every single citizen must have installed on their phone at all times. This app controls everything that you do, from the payments that you have to the social media accounts that you have, to your internet, to your social credit score, your driving license, your ID, your identification. Every single thing you can imagine is all on that one app. Whenever you want to rent a house, whenever you want to buy something, whenever you want to go on a train or go on a bus or leave your neighborhood, that app determines whether or not that is even possible based on your social credit score. People want to talk to you. Well, they want to know what your social credit score is. If it's too low, they might not want to talk to you because there is a chance that your bad social credit score might impact their social credit score. And before they know it, they too might be a problem for the government. How do you lose social credit? Well, pretty much for anything that the government doesn't deem to be kosher. The government doesn't like you saying this. Yeah, you've just lost a bunch of social credit. Now, am I saying that that's exactly where My Mzansi's app is at? That's why it's being developed? No, of course not. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the people who's working on this app genuinely just want to solve the problem with driving licenses. That's what they're focused on. But I have to ask myself, what happens when the government has access to your phone through an app that you almost know will eventually become mandatory? It will become pre-installed on every single phone that you buy. That app will be there. And it's not impossible for the government to say that anyone who buys a phone in South Africa must have the app registered in store before they can leave with the phone. That can happen. It happens with TVs all the time. Have you ever tried to buy a TV? You have to register for the TV license before you can take your TV home. That is what will happen to mobile phones. Now, once they have that app on your phone, what's to stop the app from collecting all manner of data that you don't really want the app to have? You don't want the government to know where you are at all times. Not because you're doing anything illegal, but it has nothing to do with the government. What's to stop the government from then rolling out a digital ID? What's to stop the government from saying, hold on, all of these payment processors like Google Pay, Apple Pay, or Samsung Pay, all of them, yeah, they're no longer going to be used. You now have to install all of your cards on our app because we have the functionality for it. And it would be much easier for us if everyone is just connected to the same thing. By the way, on the MyMzamsi app, you will already have to link your bank account because, well, that's how you're going to pay for your driving license. Once the government has access to that, they have access to what you're doing, where you're doing it. Most likely, they'll be able to scrape your phone to see what you're posting, what news are you looking at. And you won't be able to stop them because, well, they're the government. You have given them access to your phone. What's to stop them from saying, well, this bank account, we're going to freeze it now because you've looked at something that we didn't quite agree on. And before you go, well, we have the Bill of Rights, we have the Constitution, I need to run something by you. I want you to think through this logically. The Bill of Rights of South Africa gives each of us a bunch of rights, right? Stuff that we're allowed to do and that the government can't infringe upon. Actually, that no one can infringe upon. Such, for example, the right to own private property. That's in the Bill of Rights. You're allowed to have that. Next time you're at gunpoint and a robber is trying to take your stuff, I want you to quote the Bill of Rights and say, you don't have the right to take my stuff because the Bill of Rights says that I have the right to have this stuff. See if that persuades the robber. I'll wait. You go find a robber quickly and come back to us and let us know, was that successful? Did the robber go, I didn't even know. My apologies, sir, and give you back your stuff? No. Because the Bill of Rights in the Constitution is about as much worth as the paper that they're written on, insofar as they're not worth very much. The only thing that gives them worth is the ability to actually enforce them. We have to send guys with guns to enforce those bills in order to give them any sort of power, or you have to have the gun and be willing to wield it in order to protect your rights. Rights are not inherent. Rights don't actually exist. Rights are only the things that you are able to fight for and keep. If you can fight for it and keep it, it's your right to have it. If you can't, well, then you don't have the right to it. That's pretty much true for everything, right? The idea that rights are going to protect you. What happens when the guys with the guns that we usually send to enforce your rights become the guys with the guns that now no longer wish to enforce your rights, but actually wish to remove them? Life has always been about those who want control and those who want freedom. Digital apps like MyMzamsi, digital driving licenses, digital IDs, it all harkens back, and it's such a clear reminder to me of what is written in Revelations. The mark of the beast, the number that is also a man. Now, 666 absolutely does translate to Nero Caesar, and we know that Nero Caesar was a blight on the early church and the early Christians. But it's what Nero Caesar did that I think we were actually being warned about. You see, Nero Caesar was burning Christians alive because they would not bow down and worship him as Lord and God. They would not follow his every creed and commandment. They wanted to do as they were instructed by God. And this angered and peeved Nero Caesar. Take that to governments of today. Take that to the Chinese government. As long as you do what the government wants you to do, as long as you follow the rules as the government tells you to follow it, you're fair and clear to do whatever you want, provided that you don't do anything the government doesn't like. At the same time, once you step on the government's toes, they will make it impossible for you to do anything. You won't be able to rent a house, you won't be able to buy a house, buy anything, leave, or go anywhere, because you have angered the government, and therefore the government now has the ability to cut you off from any and all livelihood. In the Bible, it says that those who don't have the mark will be standing in the middle of a store with nothing to buy. They'll have money, but they won't be able to buy anything because they don't have the mark. And that mark doesn't have to be a physical number on your hand or a physical number on your head. It simply needs to be a mark, an identifier. And without this identifier, you are incapable of doing anything. This is apps like this. And I'm not saying that the people who are making this app right now are trying to move towards that future. They might not even know what they're about to build. but that there is someone who is actively trying to get to that future, that's true. Lucifer is actively trying to get to that future, a future where it becomes so hard for Christians to even do anything that they just give up on the whole Christianity idea altogether, because that is his fundamental goal. He doesn't care about anything else. He just wants as many Christians to give up on their faith as is humanly possible. And apps like this, in my opinion, will absolutely get us there. As always, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like if you liked it. If you didn't, massive shout out and thank you to all of the patrons, YouTube channel members for all of your support. Please click the link in the description down below to become a patron, and then also the join button right below this video if you want to become a YouTube member. Be good to each other, be kind to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Because someone said they missed it. Peace!